All right, you tell us when you're ready to go, Lizzie.
Yep. All right. I think, yep, I'll just let people in as we come. So we'll go ahead and get started. So I want to welcome you all to the graduation of our Startup Moxie Elkhart County class of 2020, our inaugural class. Our entrepreneurs and innovators have worked incredibly hard this year, and I'm so thankful that you're all here to support them tonight. If you all would, if you could please just mute your screens so that we can hear each and every speaker clearly.
Okay.
All right. So I want to go ahead and thank our naming sponsor, Patrick Industries. A huge thank you to them. We're so thankful for all the ways that Patrick has supported our program, including allowing us to hold class there for most of our year at the design studio there for Patrick Industries. And so I want to thank them and Kip Ellis for the many ways that they support us. All right. So a little bit, I'm going to show you a quick agenda. So we're going to start off with LaVon Johnson, one of our board members, and then we'll move on to our keynote speaker, Rick Meyer, who we are so thankful and grateful to have with us tonight. Then you'll hear from two students, two of our current students, followed by I'll give you a little bit, a talk a little bit, and then I'll move on to introducing our graduates to you all. Before I introduce LaVon Johnson, I have a really exciting announcement. So Bethel University has partnered with RISE to offer a scholarship to a student in Startup Moxie. It's the Rising Entrepreneur Award. The Rising Entrepreneur Award is a 3/4 paid tuition scholarship awarded to a graduating high school student who has successfully participated in the Startup Moxie program. Eligible students submitted a written application to the Bethel University Vice President of Academic Affairs, who had the final approval each year for that year's recipient. The amount is 3/4 paid tuition for up to 4 years after all federal grants, state grants, and tuition-specific scholarships have been applied. And I am so excited to announce to you all the Rising Entrepreneur Award Scholarship winner, Travis Tabor. Travis is one of the hardest working people I know, and he has done amazing things this year. And I know he's going to go on to continue to do amazing things at Bethel University. So congratulations, Travis Tabor. Next up, I'd like to welcome LaVon Johnson. He is the president and CEO at the Greater Elkhart Chamber of Commerce, and he is one of our Startup Moxie board members. So without further ado, LaVon, go ahead and take over.
All right, I appreciate that, Lizzie. First of all, I appreciate the opportunity to speak to the group. I've spent a little bit of time with them this year as they've had class here. I've had a chance to go over to Patrick's studio to meet with them. And really had that first opportunity to get together when we were at ChemCrest during the orientation. Let me say this to the students, and I think this is important to say, and for you all to realize that in your way, in this community, in this time and place, you are truly have been pioneers for this program. And I can remember a very early conversation with Amish about Startup Moxie, and how we were going to put it together and start talking about board and raising money. And then you go out and find a rock star for a director for the program. And then you got to go find the students. This is the first year of the class, and trying to see who's going to be engaged and who wants to do it and their motivation for doing that. And you guys are it. And when I say it, you are the special group of students that made the decision and made the commitment to take a calculated leap of faith in a program that hadn't existed in this county and be the ones to get it started and be the first. And that is a huge thing. I hope later in life you understand the courage that it takes to be the first at anything that you do and to begin to set a path for others to follow. When I go back to that first meeting in ChemCrest, and I know you were coached a little bit on how to interact with the adults that were going to be coming in, the business folks, and so all of you came up and shook hands and engaged in conversation. It was easier for some than others, and it was obvious, but you all did it. and to watch your progress just in being able to have those conversations throughout the last few months has really been impressive. And I know the last month, 6 weeks or so have been a little bit different. I'll touch on that in just a second. But to watch you interact with the people that came into the chamber that when you had class here, to watch the adults interact with you when we had the open house, to watch as I would stand outside of some of your schools and you would recognize me and you would come up and you would say, excuse me, and shake a hand and introduce yourselves. And to watch people look at me and say, wow, who are those young people? Like, it's something different about them. You guys brought that and you let yourselves embrace that and come out in you. And it's almost become natural for most of you. And it's been great to see that growth in each one of you. We know that some of the initial group didn't make it through and they have their own journeys and own stories for that. But you guys have made it here to the end of year one of Elkhart County Startup Moxie. And that in itself is impressive. And then let's add on top of that, through no fault or no planning on anybody's part, we end up with a pandemic as you guys are trying to finish up this program. You didn't bolt, you didn't check out. What you guys did was jumped on board, figured out, and I'm going to use a word that you hear a lot nowadays, but you figured out how to pivot and embrace and do it with the same level of enthusiasm and passion that you started the program with on each of your own projects. I know there are frustrations in that. I know there are tough times. It's a little bit different, but you did it. And last week, going through some of your projects and during the showcase, to do it virtually and for all of you to be engaged, again, is something that you've set a bar for others that are going to follow you, that we've got our work cut out for you. But we know that it can be done in the bar, and nobody's going to be able to say, we can't do it or we can't get past this. You've shown that in the face of challenges that the program can be successful, and more importantly, the young people in the program can be successful in that. I do want to say again, on behalf of the board, something that's very important, and we're going to congratulate you on getting to this point, but I think more importantly, it's a thank you. It is a thank you for being a part of this, again, being a part of something that is brand new. And you've given us stories to tell. I can guarantee you that almost everybody on the board, as we've been in our everyday conversations, and we have interactions about what does Elkhart County look like? What does education in Elkhart County look like? What does the future look like in Elkhart County? And I know all of us have talked about students in Startup Moxie and the programs that you're working on. I was part of a national conference today, and when I get done here, I go back to that conference. But we were talking about global perspectives and talking about entrepreneurship and talking about diversity and inclusion. And everybody, the conversation was light at times, it was intense at times, but people were coming from all different directions and from all over the country. I think the farthest away that was part of the conference was Tacoma, Washington to the west, and we had a few people from Massachusetts on the east. And I can tell you, I'm not going to call any names out, but I can tell you that in that conversation, I talked a lot about Startup Moxie and talked about the projects that are out there, and talked about the passion not only for profit-based projects, but in the not-for-profit world, and where you all are going to have an impact in the space that you're in the world that you're living in, and the world that you're going to take over and lead. So I say thank you for that, because you have given your passion, your voice, your gifts to all of us to be able to share. And for that, I can't be any more thankful. If there are parents on this call, and even if not students, you've got a responsibility. Now I'm giving you one more homework assignment before it's all over. If your parents aren't on this call, please relay a message to them as well, because when we started this out, I believe as you were being recruited, our message to you was, we're not sure where your class is going to be. We're not sure exactly where home base is going to be. And some of you had to drive further than others to get to class. But again, your parents made that commitment for you because you found that passion. If you can convince your parents to allow you to get up and drive and be a part of a program, you are ultimate salespeople, and you will go far in your progress. I would also say, make sure that when you get an opportunity to thank your counselors, your administrators at school that made it possible for you, for a program that was new to them as well, but made it possible for you to adjust your schedule to be a part of this program, and make sure that you stayed on top of your classwork in school and be able to be engaged. The gift that they've given you is very important. I was listening this morning to a young lady that, and I'm not going to get the quote right, and it wasn't her quote, but she talked about the gifts that we've all been given, and said that we all have a responsibility, because those gifts are within us, that we have a responsibility to share those gifts that have been given to us, and you have that responsibility to do that. And I'd very much encourage you, wherever your path takes you, and hopefully this program has helped you discover that, whether you're going on to college, going straight into the workforce, going into the military, if you're a junior and have another year of high school left, remember that you have a responsibility with the gifts that you've been given to share those in the place that they are supposed to be shared. That gift's already inside you. You share that with us. Know that as a board of directors, that we will continue to be here to support you. If you have questions, you have needs, you need connections to something, that the board is here to do that, and the many mentors and business leaders that you had an opportunity to meet this year are also here for you. Wherever your hometown is, whatever you call home base, whatever you call your home school, know that much success is in front of you, and we want to be here to help support that. So again, in closing, I would say we are very proud of you. We're very thankful to you, and excited to see what your futures hold. So congratulations on your Startup Moxie graduation, and best of luck in everything that you do.
Thank you so much, Levon. I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Amish Shah, who will introduce our keynote speaker tonight.
Awesome. Thank you, Lizzie. And before I introduce Rick, I just want to take one quick moment and say thank you to everybody, all of the students that are in this class. You have no idea what this means to me personally. This really started a couple of years ago in trying to pull this whole thing together. And as Levon mentioned, it started with the concept and the idea that we knew that kids in Elkhart County could really thrive in a program like this. We are Elkhart County. We're known for entrepreneurship. We are awesome, and we want our students to have an awesome experience. And so it's no surprise that when I kind of went out and asked some amazing people to join the board and help us raise some money and help us find a rock star to help facilitate this program, it all came together so easily. And, to me, having you be able to have this experience and really to be able to interact with all of you throughout this whole year was an amazing blessing, an inspiration. And, frankly, I always learn so much from all of you that, I come back from our board meetings when you present or you share some of your ideas and thoughts, and it just gets my mind whizzing, because you're incredible young people that are doing amazing, amazing things. Watching your business plan startups and everything was just, it's incredible. You guys really blow me away. So I, on the bottom of my heart, top of my heart, and all of my heart, just want to say thank you for putting the time in, for being resilient, right? I mean, you've had to go through a lot of challenges with this COVID crisis and everything else. Being our first year students, we've had to work some of the bugs out as we go. And just looking at you now and seeing what you've all accomplished brings me such an amazing sense of pride. So I've got on my desk all of these pictures, and each one of these pictures are the classes that I taught for Startup Moxie for the YAY program since 2012. I keep them on my desk here at work because I look at them every single day. and I look at them every single day because I still engage with a lot of those students. A lot of those students aren't students anymore. They're graduated from high school and college. They've got amazing careers. They text me, they reach out to me. We're friends. They continue to inspire me. And so that's what I'm looking forward to you. As I always promise, I'm here for you throughout the rest of your journey. Anything that I can do, I'm always here. So with that said, we're really here to hear from Rick, our rock star celebrity. So as I introduce Rick, for those, I think everybody should know Rick, but Rick Meyer is definitely a fan favorite, a local celebrity, if not an international celebrity. Rick's born and raised in Goshen, Indiana. Out of Goshen High School, was an all-star. I know his dad was a coach right before Rick got into playing varsity. But Rick graduated from Goshen High School, then went to Notre Dame. I was in high school, so Rick's about 4 years behind me. So I spent every waking moment going to Notre Dame games and watching Rick excel, because those were some amazing days of football back between 88 and 92. So of course, after Rick kicked butt at Notre Dame, he got drafted by the Seahawks and then went on to play for 6 other NFL teams. Rick's also an entrepreneur. Amongst other things, Rick has a winery in Napa and is involved in a lot of great things. So having Rick on this call to speak to you all is truly an honor. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce Rick Meyer.
Sorry, I guess I'm unmuted now. There we go. Hey, thank you so much, Amish. You're too kind. I'm flattered to be involved. I learned more on that first 10 minutes about the program than I had through a few emails, so it's awesome to get caught up a little bit. I wish this type of thing would have existed back 30 years ago when I was coming through high school. So what an unbelievable opportunity for these kids. I'm really proud of Elkhart County. I haven't lived there for a long time, but my parents have always lived there. My wife's from Elkhart and went to Jimtown High School, so we have strong ties. And with our oldest son being at Notre Dame, I'm on campus a little bit in and out of South Bend. I'm extremely loyal and thankful for all the things that have happened after college for me, but we always kind of have this homing device for Goshen, Indiana and South Bend and around that whole area. So the kids, when I was asked, could I help out? These kids are from Elkhart County, no brainer. This is exactly who I care about the most. So thank you to the students, thank you to the parents, the mentors, the board, everybody involved in this program for doing something so great for these kids' future. There's only so many ways you can prepare people. School, classrooms, I think the world's changing. There's so many more interactive things, technology like what we're doing today. I'm in San Diego, and we're somehow, some way, this pandemic has actually brought us closer together in some ways. I've reconnected with more people this way than actually how much physical travel I would have done anyhow. So we're making the best of a weird situation, but it's just awesome to be involved. Startup Moxie graduation number 1. It's very cool for you guys to be the pioneers. I've thought about what I could say that would apply to these kids. I've been in your shoes, I guess. I've been 17, 18, 19 years old, and my experiences from that graduation, high school graduation time, might be a little different than some people who had a different path, but we all have different paths. There's certain things I think apply no matter who you are and where you are. If you're going to be an entrepreneur, if you're going to play in that arena, some probably will stay in it. Some might change. Some might find other interests. I didn't know I was an entrepreneur when I was 18. I was a student and I took it seriously. And my parents were teachers. School always mattered a lot to us. And I just kept making progress. And then after certain things happened, I wind up an entrepreneur. It's just the way it worked for me. But mostly I want to congratulate the kids and wish them well. But I think there's a few things I could break down from my perspective that would apply to what they might see coming in the future. I have 3 sons that are 21, 19, and 16. So I'm kind of living in the same world that the parents of you are. So I understand from the college perspective and from high school struggles or high points these days in the world of technology, which we didn't have the internet when I was in high school, so we've really changed things quite a bit. In three sections, I would say your development in education, but especially entrepreneurship, is from 0 to 18-ish or wherever you are today. All the things that have happened to you up to this point are kind of because of other people's decisions or guidance. You don't get to choose where you live. You don't get to choose what school you go to, pretty much. You're sort of a rule follower, especially as a young person, but you're witnessing things that can can teach you lessons or spark an interest in you. So you're basically around family and loyalty and the friends and the neighbors and the people that you will know forever. And I'm in contact with a bunch of little league buddies of mine and grade school friends, high school, alumni of mine. But it's a little different than the people I'm around today because I'm so far away, I guess. But we have a different kind of connection than the people I work with or the people I played with or the people that I went to college with. So I think it's important that you thank your parents for getting you to this point. This is an opportunity of a lifetime. It's a springboard if you take it seriously. Entrepreneurs are leaders. This is definitely you're going above and beyond what you had to do. And to graduate from not just high school, but this program as well is something to be very, very proud of. Those years go pretty quick, and then you blink your eyes. And the second phase for me are these next 4 or 5 years for most of you. It doesn't matter really if you're going to college or not. I assume a lot of you are, but your parents, I'm just trying to reinforce what you're being told. Your parents will tell you those are the best years of your life. Those are the most interesting, fun. You'll meet people that you'll have more in common with, maybe because you chose to be at the same place. You're taking the same classes. You might live in the same dorm or apartment, have the same schedule. Maybe if you're playing a sport, it could be teammates. But there's a different sort of connection to the people you're in college with versus the people you grew up with. So it's where you really get to be creative and you really get to be proactive and pick your schedule and decide things that you didn't get to choose maybe when you were younger. So it's important to know going in, it's not just college and it's fun. It is fun, but it's also where you kind of define yourself. You get a chance to express things that your mom and dad aren't around. Like you can focus on what you really want to focus on, keeping up with the work, of course, but it's just a way to kind of realize that the choices are yours. They're important. They will affect you in the end. They will affect you later in life. I encourage my sons, and I'll tell you the same thing I tell them: get to know people. Don't live in a hole. Get out. Get involved in things in the dorm, clubs, extracurricular things. My sons play a sport, so they're kind of inundated with the timing of practice and games and travel that way. But volunteer. Go to some of the stuff that's not mandatory and meet people. Meet older people in business before you need to interview with them at the end of college. Be more comfortable around that environment so that it's not that difficult when the time comes where it actually matters. But just building your network is huge. It's not the easiest thing to do when you're a teenager, but when you're a little bit older, there's people recruiting kids from these schools, and they're looking for certain types of focuses and certain types of majors. So put yourself in the game. Leadership is such a huge thing, I think, with entrepreneurial mindsets, because these people are willing to take chances. They're willing to take risks that are calculated, but they're not like stuck inside some cookie cutter sort of business. You can adapt to things differently than other people. This time period we're in right now is a perfect example, and never in my lifetime has there been anything like this. People needed to adjust, and we say pivot quite a bit, but people need to sort of decide what direction the business needs to go, and it's totally different than what we might have thought 6 months ago. And it's going to be very difficult for certain industries, and others are going to thrive in it. But you have to have your eyes open, and you have to be confident enough in what you're doing to kind of make the decision to adjust and just go with the flow. You got to call audible sometimes, and there's great examples happening every day in these last few months of people who've figured out how to help be part of the solution in a weird time instead of just banging your head against the wall because things aren't working the same way they used to. So I think that network of people is invaluable. I hear from dorm mates of mine regularly, not every single day, but almost every day, who now run big companies and they own companies and they've sold companies. And it's just the guy that used to live down the hall, but they turned into that person. That's who you're surrounded by if they're high achieving and they're taking school seriously. You know, when you're 20 years old, it's kind of in one ear and out the other, but I'm telling you, those are the people later on you're going to see again, and a lot of them are going to have done well. So the third phase is when you're at the next graduation, you're finishing college or that point in your life. You don't have the responsibilities maybe of a parent. You don't maybe have to live like you're 40 years old and you have to put kids through school and things like that. You still have a lot of freedom, but that's where your network is going to kick in. The most important thing I did right, I had 12 years of NFL service in 7 different cities, met a lot of people, kept all the business cards. I have a shoebox full of business cards, write a little note, how I met this person. Was it a charity event? Was it a business thing? Was it a season ticket holder? Was it somebody who owns the car dealership? You just never know who you're going to need or who you might want to get some information from years later. So I've tapped into that constantly since I started my own business. I've participated in a lot of other fundraising things. I know a lot of friends who want to get connected to the right people that can help them, and I might be in the middle of that. So I've benefited greatly just from the network expanding, just by paying attention, just by being in front of people and trying to make things happen instead of waiting for things to just fall into my lap. That is not the way to go about it. You need to be proactive, and you need to take advantage of the opportunities you have. They may be regional, they may not. I was lucky and I lived all over the country. I guess unlucky also because I had to bounce around the country. But because I did that, I had a chance to meet a ton of people in Seattle and a bunch of people in Chicago and a bunch of people in New York. And as time's gone on, I have a product that might apply to all of them. I can tap into that. My entrepreneurial juices started flowing when I started my company, and I needed those people to support what I had and spread the word, and the way they would introduce it to people they know is invaluable because we had this connection from years before. So I think the most important thing is, keep asking questions, keep pushing yourself. You don't have to sit back, and I kind of sat in the back of the classroom when they're in those big lecture halls. If you're in the smaller classes, sit in the front and find out be a part of the conversation. Those are the leadership qualities that people are looking for. Those are the things that if you develop properly are super valuable later in life, and those will pay dividends. You don't have to forget where you came from. You may disappear and go off and live somewhere else or have a different opportunity come up, but don't limit yourself. It's fine to be the one asking questions and trying to create opportunities for yourself, because nobody's going to care more about you than you do, and you're going to have people to provide for at some point. And I hate talking to kids about working, but there's a way to develop all these things that can lay things out for you that are going to be right in place, for the taking when the time comes. So congratulations. I'm really proud to be a part of something going on in my town, my hometown. I would have been back there quite a bit this spring, but I haven't been on a plane in a long time, and I don't think any of us really have. So one day I will be back, and I would love to participate or come see what goes on when you do get together, when the next class gets together. I'm assuming this will kick in next school year. So thank you so much for having me. Amish, I appreciate the ask. It's fun to kind of give back and connect with the kids back at home. And I think next year you have a Goshen High School kid, so I'm excited to hear about that.
Rick, thank you so much. We cannot thank you enough. What an awesome way for our students to end their Startup Moxie journey. So again, we can't thank you enough for the time you gave us. And yeah, thank you so much.
No problem. Thank you so much.
Yeah. So next up, I'm going to introduce to you Gabby DeSimone. She is going to share her personal impact story through Startup Moxie. So Gabby, I'll go ahead and turn it over to you.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us. I would like to start off by sharing my story. In the beginning, when I got accepted into the class, I was beyond excited and filled with so much joy. The first week of classes were very nerve-wracking for me. I felt awkward, lonely, and out of place. This was my first experience in a setting with so many kids from different schools who were all passionate and excited to join to begin their personal startups. I had literally no idea what I was getting myself into. Little did I know I was signing up for something that required a lot of time and effort. Throughout the beginning, we heard from many guest speakers. I realized I was being treated as a professional rather than a student in the classroom. We were expected to shake hands and conversate with people I didn't know, and that was terrifying for me. Lizzie would always make us stand up and talk to someone new every day before a speaker, and I think that's what made our class so fun and enjoyable because everyone got along and got to know each other quickly. We then moved on to doing our micro business at the Elkhart Health and Aquatics Center, where we learned how to talk to people in interviews, empathy mapping, and did a ton of stats and data sorting. Going out and interviewing random people made me hate the class because it was forcing me to step out and do things I wouldn't usually do. We were expected to solve a problem that nobody had the answer to, and that part was constantly frustrating, not being able to find the answer right away. We had to work hard for it. All things that I didn't know before this opportunity. First semester was starting to come to an end, and I was starting to get nervous about going off on my own and creating my own startup. I felt I wasn't on the same level as everyone else in my group. I felt so much pressure that I had to step out of my comfort zone and do something I've never done before. At that point was when I realized I no longer wanted to go into business. I have never been 100% on doing business. Before Startup Moxie, I was really passionate about interior designing. You could say my heart was set on that career. Being that I was so unsure about business, I really started to feel the pressure and doubts of Startup Moxie, and it all felt awkward. I wasn't sure the path I was taking was the right one. I did everything I could to try and drop the class. I had a meeting with my principal, my counselor, my parents, and my teacher, Lizzie. The meeting didn't go the way I was wanting it to. I was hoping I would just get the approval to quit and move on. That was not the outcome I got. They strongly encouraged me to continue. They reminded me of the things I have achieved so far and to not give up just because life is getting stressful and hard. My family encouraged me not to quit on something that I've started, but to finish it out strong and show everyone that I can do this and that I'm not a quitter. My classmates motivated me to not give up. They all wanted me to stay in the class and finish it with them. They all saw something in me that I didn't see in myself. So I ended up showing up the morning second semester started, and everyone was shocked to see me. I was jealous that the other kids who wanted to drop out got to, and I didn't. I was filled with joy at the same time because I was glad I didn't drop out. I was proud of myself. I had absolutely no idea where to start or what to do with my personal startup. So I started to work hard and dive into some divergent thinking to stir some ideas up. 5 months ago, if you were to tell me I was going to be giving the graduation speech, I would have told you you were crazy. One thing I learned during the second semester is you need to be very thoughtful when choosing partners. My first partner and I struggled seeing eye to eye, and it didn't work out. I had no choice but to pivot and part ways. That left me feeling rushed and confused on what to do next. Many obstacles arose that I had to overcome. I joined a partnership with my amazing partners, McKenna Farrell and Libby Kearns, who showed me how to be confident in what you're bringing to the table. Throughout all this frustration and craziness, I learned to not give up and to persevere through all the troubles and challenges you face. To my fellow classmates, as we head into our next phases in life, I hope you all remember my story and never give up. Pursue your dreams and don't let the fear of doing something new scare you. Growth never comes from a comfort zone. Thank you to my classmates, my mentor, the board members, my family, and most importantly, my teacher, Lizzie, who pushed me to never stop trying.
Thank you, Gabby. I'm so proud of you for not giving up and for pushing yourself beyond what you thought was possible. I'm so proud of you. Next up, I'd like to introduce Travis Tabor, another one of our Startup Moxie students.
Hello, everyone. My name is Travis Tabor, senior at Jimtown High School. Well, not very long, but still at the moment. We're here. We're at the graduation of the first ever class of Startup Moxie Elkhart County. Around a year ago today, I can remember sitting in my 7th hour period class, just receiving an email stating that I made it. I was accepted to the Startup Moxie program. What this meant, I had little to no idea, and I'm sure many of my peers felt the same way. All of school, we were given assignments and tests and were told what exactly to do and when exactly to do it. But we quickly learned that Startup Moxie is most definitely not a high school class, and it is far from it. We learn skills and processes that we simply will not forget and will follow us to any career pathway that we choose for the rest of our lives. If that's college, continuing with our personal businesses, or going to work for an employer. We as a class have learned so many great skills like communication, teamwork, working on the fly, coming up with new ideas, as well as so many more. But one of the biggest achieved was simply not giving up. We, the class of Startup Moxie 2020, have learned and exemplified the true meaning of perseverance and determination. At the beginning of the program, I was scared to try new things. I never wanted to fail. And one of the most important lessons learned for myself was to fail fast and fail forward. Before, I couldn't give a speech like this or a presentation to a group of people. The program has helped me with my communication skills as well as just bettering my confidence as a person. No matter what was thrown at us, we pushed through. There was times where I woke up in the morning not wanting to get out of bed or not dressing up for the day, as well as times where the workload was just so stressful and overwhelming. And when having to also deal with school and other things on top of this. There were also those times where I thought to myself, how much easier it would have been if I just didn't sign up for the program. But I'm here and we all pushed through. With one of the most difficult challenges that hit our class, the coronavirus, COVID-19, I remember the class was devastated when we learned that our class expo wasn't going to continue as we planned. But our Startup Moxie class didn't stop there. We adapted to change as what entrepreneurs do best. And most importantly, we didn't quit. We continued to thrive for success with continuing class with many, many Zoom calls and putting up a virtual event, an expo, to still share our success with over 300 individuals that attended. Although this may seem as if it is the end of the road but we are just beginning a new journey. No matter where we end up, we all have Startup Moxie in our blood. I also want to recognize and thank you, Lizzie Sheets, for being such a great facilitator, and as well as my mentor, John Meyer, a true help trying to find my passions, as well as a huge thank you for all the classmates and the friendships and the relationships I have been able to build. Thank you, Startup Moxie Elkhart class of 2020, for a successful and memorable year.
Thank you so much, Travis. Congratulations on such a great year and of course on your Bethel Scholarship. So I'd like to first start by thanking our board of directors. I'm so thankful to all of you who worked so hard to bring this amazing program into our county. As you can all see, your hard work has paid off and shows through in the lives of our students. To our community and our guest speakers, our mentors and our volunteers, we literally could not have done this without you. The countless hours that you've spent behind the scenes or with our students has truly been irreplaceable. To the parents, I appreciate you so much and I'm so thankful for you. Thank you for making sure that your students were up at the crack of dawn to get to us by 7:30 in the morning. Thank you for allowing them to probably have to stay up late finishing things. And thank you, most importantly, for allowing them to fail forward and for allowing them to struggle when it really would have been easier to probably step in and solve the problems for them. They'll thank you one day, I'm sure. Thank you to the team at RISE, Laura Bryan, Iris Hamill, and Matthew Stakowitz. I'm so blessed that I got to work beside you guys this year with such creative and hardworking and versatile people. I want to thank the Greater Elkhart Chamber of Commerce for all the ways that you've supported our program, and not only that, but the ways that you've supported me and all the work that I needed to do for the program. I want to thank my family, my husband, Jay, and my son, Mac. Thank you for putting up with some of the crazy hours that I worked throughout the year. Mac had enjoyed getting to join some of our classes and meeting our entrepreneurs. So thank you, Mac. Love you. And last but not least, thank you to our students who are the heartbeat of why I do what I do. You have all blown me away this year with your resilience, your perseverance, your vulnerability, and your hard work. We have come face to face this year with situations that have really been out of our control. And we know that we can't always control the things that happen to us, but we can control how we react to them. And you guys bounced back. You were resourceful, you were innovative, and you created work that you should be so proud of. I know that I'm proud of you. As you know, your startups and your innovation projects or your internships are a large part of the work that you did in Startup Moxie. But the most important work that you did throughout this whole program is the work that you've done on yourselves. I spoke all year long that what you put in is what you'll get out. And others will go to work for you when you go to work for yourself. I pray that this is so ingrained in your minds by now that you continue to hear it for years to come. What you put in is what you'll get out. And when you go to work for yourself, others will go to work for you. Don't sit back and wait for things to happen. You are take action kind of people. And when you fail in the years to come, I hope you to continue to fail forward. You all know by now that failure is not a negative. It's a way to learn and a way to grow. You are the ones who get to choose what comes next. You get to choose how much you will put into the work you do for the next year or for the next 5 years. You get to pursue the goals and the dreams that are important to you, and you get to take charge of your life and to create a life you love. I pray that you will put in as much as you can. As we all know, there's a lot going on right now with the coronavirus and just a lot of things that are uncertain. So I want to leave you with the truth. The truth is that you are all powerful. You are so important. You are created to do good in this world. You are creative thinkers and you're overcomers. In a world that is going to get, if the world is going to get better, it's up to you. And I cannot wait to see the good that you all go on to do in the years to come. The entrepreneurial mindset doesn't stop here. That's the exciting part. You get to carry this with you for the rest of your lives. And so without further ado, I'd love to introduce to you our Startup Moxie Elkhart County Class of 2020 graduates. First up, we have Drew Gaylor. Drew is the founder of Fundamental Finances, and he plans to attend Marian University next year, where he will play basketball and major in finance. Congratulations, Drew. I'm so proud of you. Next up, we have, let me go to the next screen. Next up, we have Caden Waugh. Caden is the founder of Safeway Home Solutions. This year, Caden took first place in our Startup Moxie Elkhart County pitch event. He took first place in our Experience Rise Expo and Showcase pitch event. And next year, Caden is heading to Western University to study entrepreneurship. So congratulations, Caden. I'm so proud of you as well. Next up, we have Carlos Lopez Chavez. Carlos is the founder of Bella Vita, and next year he will be a senior at Elkhart Memorial High School, so he's just a junior this year. He did create a great relationship with his mentor, Dr. Calvin Boots, and plans to intern at Bowling Vision Center next year to help in his pursuit to go into optometry. So his plan is to study optometry at the Indiana University, Bloomington. Congratulations, Carlos. I'm so proud of you. Next up, we have Curtis Miller. Curtis is the founder of Lincoln Grow Mentors. Through self-evaluation, Curtis has discovered his passion and his joy for life, and it exudes from him so abundantly. He has worked really hard to turn his dream of travel into reality, and he plans to take the next year to travel abroad. Curtis, I'm so proud of you. Congratulations. Next up, we have Gabrielle DeSimone. She is the co-founder of Supporting Success, and next year she will be attending Northwestern Ohio University, where she will play softball and major in sports marketing. Congratulations, Gabby. I'm so proud of you. Next up, we have Hayden Nickel, founder of Elkhart PC. Hayden will be attending Indiana University Bloomington in the fall and majoring in informatics or intelligent systems engineering. Congratulations, Hayden. I'm so proud of you. Next up, we have Jacob Miller, founder of Artista. Jacob is going to be attending Grace College in the fall, and he's going to be studying entrepreneurship management and finance. Congratulations, Jacob. Next up, we have John Eichstadt. He was a consultant with the South Bend Lions Consultant Group this year. He's going to go on to study, he's going to double major in finance and economic consulting at Indiana University Bloomington. Congratulations, John. I'm proud of you as well. Although Liliana was not able to jump on the call tonight, I'd like to introduce her. Liliana Lomelli, founder of Serenity. Next year, Lily will be going into her senior year at NorthWood High School, and she's going to begin an internship at the Napanee Police Department, where she will pursue her passion for the law enforcement field. Her long-term goal is actually to become part of the FBI. So congratulations, Lily. I'm so proud of you. Next up, we have Luis Perez, founder of Rise Media. This year, Luis took second place at the University of Notre Dame's Idea Center Idea Sprint, where he received funding for his startup. Luis actually plans on continuing to grow his business full-time after high school. So congratulations, Luis. I'm so proud of you. Next up, we have Maria Mitchell, founder of What About Willis? Maria plans to attend Ivy Tech Community College in the fall, and she plans to study special education. Congratulations, Maria. I'm so proud of you. Next up, we have McKenna Farrell. She was also a co-founder of Supporting Success, and next year she plans to go on to study at Western Michigan University. So congratulations, McKenna. I'm so proud of you. Next up, we have Morgan Dyer. This year, Morgan spent her time in Moxie, especially second semester, interning as the marketing intern for Cryo Edge Elite. Morgan received a scholarship to attend Indiana State University, where she will run cross country and track in the fall, and she'll be majoring in exercise science with a minor in business. She also plans to continue as the marketing intern for Cryo Edge Elite. So congratulations, Morgan. I'm so proud of you. Next up, we have Sean Kompension. Always have trouble with his last name, but Sean is the founder of Copatech. He this year won third place at our Startup Moxie Elkhart County pitch event. He plans to attend Purdue University in the fall, where he will study astrophysics. Congratulations, Sean. I'm so proud of you. Next up, we have Sergio De La Cruz. Sergio is the founder of Cruz Customs. He also was a regional semifinalist at the Innovate Within pitch competition here a couple months ago. Sergio plans to continue on with his startup after high school, and he plans to find a job here in the region. So congratulations, Sergio. I'm so proud of you. And last but not least, we have Travis Tabor. Travis is the founder of Home Rebuilds. He took second place this year at the Startup Moxie Elkhart County pitch event. And in the fall, he will be attending Bethel University under his scholarship and plans to study business management or business administration. He also plans to continue to grow his startup Home Rebuilds. So if we could all give a round of applause to our class of entrepreneurs. You can unmute yourselves.
Good job, everybody.
Congratulations, everybody.
Yes.
Congratulations.
That is all I have for this
Good job,
evening.
guys.
If anybody else would like to to share, go ahead. But otherwise, thank you all so much. I'm so proud of all of you and just excited to see the things that you go on to do.
Good job, Gabby.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you, guys.
Good luck to all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
They're all leaving.
Who did?
Good job, Lizzie.
Thanks, Mom.